Alrighty. I guess I'll wait a bit till people come around. Nobody watching yet. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, tonight's gonna be, as it reads on the title. Yeah, PC board game fun. Recently, for cheap on Steam, in case you hadn't gotten the word already, I got a few of my favorite board games that I have actual copies of, and I got them off of Steam for cheap, and I feel like sharing with them for you today. Yay! Exactly. Attack Helicopter Cat. Yay for board game fun. Yay. Okay. I'll wait a little bit before I start. Oh, Filthy Heretic's coming. Yay! Link. Yeah, Essa can join. Yeah, why not? We will have fun. Awesome. Awesome stuff. All right, I'm excited now. All right, Techno's here. Yeah. All right, hi, JC. Yep, indeedy. Hi, Techno. He says hello. And now to show Attack Helicopter Cat's excitement. Yay! Alright. So Heretic's coming, Esso's coming. It's gonna be great. Alright, so yeah, so the games I got that I have actual physical copies of are Splendor, Carcassonne, and Ascension. Splendor is the most ANCAP one of them of all. It's a very economics game. Yeah, and apparently I'm going to screen share it. So let's see. All right. Basically in Splendor, you it plays 2 to 4. By the way, you have these gems, these gem tokens. You get those, you start with those, and you borrow them to get the permanent gem on the cards, and some have victory points or prestige points, as it is officially in the game. The first person to get 15 or more prestige or victory points wins. And there are these like noble cards too, but it's just like extra points, like 3 points that you get from. Yeah, Splendor. Yeah, there's a PC version now. That's what I'm going to show tonight. Woot woot! Splendor fan in the house. Yeah, I like StreamYard. It's nice. It's very simple to use, and I like the comments that you could like just pick and put them up on display. That's really nice. Oh, great! Hey guys,
Hey,
it's been a
suppose
while
we.
since I had you on a stream of mine.
What was that?
It's been a while since I had you on a stream of mine as a guest,
Oh,
so it's been a while.
yeah, I wasn't really doing anything. Didn't have any projects that I've been working on. And if you saw the announcement in my server the other day,
Hmm.
it's probably going to be a while until I upload another response video or an essay. But yeah, I just figured I'd come on here because it's fun,
It's
something to
also,
do.
of course, I just I've got a video I'm working on, but I've been extremely lazy about it, and today's been a little busier than usual. So yeah, I
Hmm.
still got to do recording, but yeah, there's a video in the works. It's gonna be a Patreon or patron question video thing. So should I just say what it is?
All right.
Well, basically the question is, would a country nuke itself? Or rather, would a government nuke its own people, or at least the
Yeah,
people it
no.
claims dominion over?
Yeah, short answer, no.
I'm hesitant to say no because it's going to largely depend on the disposition of the people making that decision. Like if you have just straight up psychopath who's like even more of a psychopath than politicians usually are, then there's a chance they probably will, but there's no justification for them to do so aside from the most insane and extreme of circumstances. They have everything to lose and very little to gain. I mean, it's not just a Sherman's Marsh style scorched earth policy, it's an irradiated earth policy where, I mean, after a building gets burned down or a town gets burned down, you can build it up again. If the ground is irradiated, you can't do that. Well, I mean, you can try, but everyone's going to get cancer.
Yeah, see the thing is though, is it would probably have to depend greatly on the circumstance, like the scale of the country in question. Like there's no way Macron would launch a nuke on in Paris, but in the United States, I don't know if one of the Midwest states decided to become largely dissident. I mean, depending on the circumstances, um, they could possibly create a socio-political justification, but the reason why I'm and not by justification, I mean from their perspective and within the framework which they attempt to establish, not objectively, of course, but um, yeah, if that were the case, if I mean they could do exactly what they did with the Oregon standoff, the Bundy Ranch thing, but yeah, if that were to happen, if the thing is, they really, they would be destroying um, countless resources which the state needs to sustain its own material interests, which is why I don't think that a government would.
The only circumstances I can think of are a situation like an Independence Day where an alien invasion is going on, as unrealistic as that would be for many reasons I outlined in a previous video, that the alien invasion is centralized in a mothership and you need a nuclear weapon deployed onto a ship that's hovering above the country's soil. That's probably the only circumstances I can think of. Suffice to
When you
say, it's a very niche and insanely impossible circumstance.
Yeah, when you get to the point when you're talking about alien invasions, that's when you know you're at peak whataboutism. To the point where you have to not only engage in whataboutism, but your examples you're providing don't even make sense within the discussion which they're being presented to.
Literally, any civilization that's advanced enough to bridge the gap between stars is advanced enough to not have governments. So they wouldn't invade. They'd be here to any aliens that would be here to trade. So yeah, it's not possible. So anyways, what else is going on? Should we talk about some of the stuff that you and I were DMing about just a few minutes ago?
Guys,
What?
we could all right, we could cover like one more topic of discussion, and then I want to get to what the title reads.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Marion about that because it is her stream.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah. All right. So I have a few copies of what I actually own as board games. They're now on PC, and I recently got them off Steam at a very cheap price. So I want to show them. Splendor, as I was saying earlier, before I realized that you guys were appeared on the broadcast studio. I was explaining it. It's basic, so I'll rehash it a bit. It's basically a very economics game. My buddy Techno 1200 says in his honest opinion, it seems ANCAP in its own sort of free market-ish way of economics. Basically, you are borrowing these gem tokens, and you're spending them like in-game money to get the permanent gems on the cards. And some of these cards have like different value points on them. And the first player to get up to 15 victory points or prestige points, as the game puts it, is the winner. At least 15 or more.
Are victory points and prestige points interchangeable?
Nope, they're the same. They're the same. It's just that the game calls them prestige points.
I've been playing. I'm just not really into simulation games, and that's sort of the reason why I'm not really into board games, because they're kind of all limited to some form of strategic simulation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as for what I've been playing lately, have you guys? I don't know if you follow gaming news, but have you been following EA's Battlefront 2 recently?
I mean, I have heard some of the news that you shared on your Discord that they released the Felucia expansion. You made the remarks
I hate to praise EA, but yeah, they kind of turned that sinking ship around. If the game had been released with this content and in this state at day one, it wouldn't have been a masterpiece, but it probably would have gotten a Best Sellers award for that year. It's actually playable now.
That's pretty high praise nowadays, I guess.
Is it high price now? I haven't checked the price.
No,
first of all,
praise.
Oh, you said price, but yeah, I never really checked the price because I torrented my version, so yeah, I'm not paying EA.
All right, so Techno does say that I agree with. Only exception is the context of the nobles, but they don't really change or interfere with the actual play of Splendor. JC Armitage says, I guess on what you guys explained, a perfect lesson on why you should never release games in a borderline unplayable state.
Yeah, and EA has been learning that lesson the hard way for a couple years now. They've been using that cheese stat of strategy. I mean, of inflating their GDP figures by using Origin purchases, registering them twice. Like, it's the same thing that Disney's been doing. Basically, they've fudged their figures by hundreds of millions of dollars. And even when doing that, they're still operating in a net loss for the last 2 years, particularly. So
the hundreds of millions comes exclusively from their parks and recreation division. it's hard to say how much of this fudging the numbers is going on in all their other departments, but I can imagine that it's an absolute bloodbath, and they're doing everything they can right now not to cause their stockbrokers to just like flee in absolute panic.
Yeah, and EA has been doing the exact same thing, except the difference is that EA, their entire company model is structured around the payment model that Disney's parks are. So, we know that their figures are being fudged because literally every company that operates around this model, because of the stock market, is incentivized to fudge their earnings figures. But yeah, it's probably way worse with EA. We just know that it's even when they're doing this, they're operating around a net loss. And given that literally nobody likes EA, it's really pretty questionable just in general.
So would it be all right if I shared the screen and put the game on? I'll put the volume on low.
All
Sure.
right, that's fine.
Alrighty.
But do you?
Of course.
I'm sorry, but was Filthy going to go into, and were we going to be able to go into detail about what we were talking about in DMs, or?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. Do you have the screen share?
Yeah, I'm putting it on right now.
All right.
There you go.
Okay. Well, it's your stream. It's clearly you wanted to talk about the board game. So, something broke.
We could talk about the board game, but yeah, I don't disagree with you, Filthy. It is kind of an important subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so yeah, my collection here, Splendor.
I don't know how I feel about board games being released digitally.
Well, hold on. Dang it.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think it makes perfect sense.
Oh, come on. Stop being slow now.
Makes more sense than releasing them on consoles, which gaming companies have been doing since like the 80s, because now they actually have a purpose. You can connect to anyone else in the world wanting to play. So you always have somebody.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, just turn that off. I like how it is introduced digitally because, in my honest opinion, it's an opportunity to introduce people, like people that I'm friends with online to these games. It is an interesting way to introduce these the games that are like online that you can play online or on computer offline, and yeah, to just introduce them to these cool board games. Another really cool economics game that I really like is that I have a physical copy of is called Century Spice Road, and it sort of plays similar to this one. I'm gonna start a new game. Okay. I think I won the last one. Anyways. Yeah, continue.
Nothing really. It's just like I don't know if I'm being old-fashioned or not. I probably am. I'm just when I grew up, like it was just you played chess by getting the board out of the cupboard and setting up the pieces.
That sounds like you're being very old-fashioned.
Probably.
My gaming group, we've played this game, the actual physical copy of it.
Mm-hmm.
Hold up. blue.
Mr. Agent 47 just accused you of being a hypocrite because something you described is simulating space warfare.
No, I was
Yeah,
talking, I
was
was
gonna bring
talking
that
about
up.
the genre of game, strategic simulation. It's a genre of gameplay.
So it's like a strategy game rather than a shooter.
Yeah, like StarCraft would be an example of what I'm talking about. And what I was saying is that board games kind of by default have to be a form of strategic simulator.
Hmm. I mean, they kind of have been for as long as there have been board games. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with Go.
Yeah, I never
Yeah,
played it though.
I have. It's pretty fun. But yeah, that game's been around as sort of like a that game's been a strategy game for like thousands of years. And I know that the Chinese government, especially their military, puts a lot of emphasis on Go proficiency for for their military and just their foreign policy in general. I've even read an article a few years ago. I don't remember what the details are, what the article was called, about how foreign policy by China operates around strategies in Go gameplay, mostly involving things like encirclement and subversion.
So basically, how to be a glower.
Pretty much. Although seriously, it's a fun game. We should probably play it sometime. Though, So you'd probably kick my ass. Now, I'm not entirely sure what's going on this screen right now. Could you describe it to me?
Well, currently, we're starting the AI and I are starting with the tokens here, which are these. The gold up here is like a wild. It could be any of these. So I'm going to purchase with the wild, and I have a permanent gem, which is this little rounded rectangle. So I got a green gem card. And the nobles here, they're, as I said, they're like bonus. As I said earlier, they're just a bonus points. Like if I have 4 white gem cards and 4 blue gem cards, quartz and sapphire, then I get these 3 points. Um, let's see. Yeah, I'm deciding now. I'm currently deciding which one I want to get. I can get this one without having to get any tokens, and those go back, and the cards stay. Those are permanent gems. You use those to buy these higher ones. Like this is like level 1, level 2, and level 3.
Apparently, as recently as 6 hours ago, it's being reported that the Chinese government just doubled their military presence in Hong Kong.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to start something. Like we've kind of known that for a long time, but here it seems like all of their infiltration and all of their subversion in Hong Kong seems to only be resulting in escalated, force. I figure
Yeah.
it's only a matter of time before they declare martial law.
Yeah, they've had police officers pretending to be protesters, trying to be violent, and they've been doing all sorts of glower tactics.
Only difference is that the Chinese are not very good at glower tactics. You can
Yeah,
spot them very quickly because they're open because they have a holster.
yeah, they're open carrying a Hong Kong police issued handgun. It's and like I was telling you, it's like they wanted that to be noticed.
It's entirely possible. However, it's also possible that just the police are not used to doing the kind of glower tactics that they do in the U.S. They're not practiced. They don't have the quite the psyop uh, backing. It's mostly just like people just told like, yeah, you got to infiltrate these guys. Okay, and then they just well, they're not very good at it. Suffice to say.
Yeah, so what just happened is, as for tokens, I can only hold up to 10 of them, just like in the actual physical games. So I had 11, so I had to return one of them.
How difficult is it to set up a stream on Streamlabs, StreamYard here? Because yeah, I think
It's actually pretty simple. It's not hard to figure out. All you need to do it for free is just put in your email address and put in the code, and you're good to go in setting up a broadcast.
by code you mean your stream encoder.
It's like a 6-digit number verification code.
Okay, so something that
Yeah,
they
you get
send
that in
you.
email.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
well does it work with
always easy.
YouTube's? How well does it work with YouTube's layout? Because that's sort of what's been holding me back from streaming.
It actually does work pretty good. I know Nate the Voluntarist has been using it, and it's been working out just fine with him. And it's really cool. What I like is just highlighting the different comments here. See, from Faith Berserker. Hold up.
That's Mr.
There
Agent
you go.
47.
Yep. Also known as Faithless Berserker on Discord. That's his YouTube name.
Ah, I didn't know that.
He says the appeal of other tabletop games I play come from sort of an artistic perspective. This is the reason I play Warhammer. I like painting and a game that motivates me to do better. Yeah, that's cool.
I don't think I could play the Warhammer tabletop game simply because I have 3 thumbs when it comes to paintbrushes. I cannot touch paint.
Yeah, paint's pretty awful. Never really understood it.
You ever tried it? The bristles always go in the exact opposite direction you think the laws of physics would force them to go.
Well, on top of that, it's also pretty hard to distribute your colors. So, never will understand how you make photorealistic paints.
I imagine that's the kind of people that have like lots and lots and lots of practice doing exactly that. But yeah, I don't know, I'm just too discouraged to even make the attempt. Maybe it's something wrong with me, but honestly, I'm not really terribly interested in it anyway. So yeah, so let's talk about the thing we were DMing about earlier.
All right.
Give me a second here. So just today, an article broke on Zero Hedge talking about how a senior Twitter executive, hold on a second, pulling up the article.
Gordon McMillan is his name.
Yeah. He was originally part of an organization in the UK military called the 77th Brigade. The 77th Brigade was, according to The Guardian, a special force of Facebook warriors, their words, not mine, skilled in psychological operations and use of social media to engage in unconventional warfare in the information age. The basic idea is that they were a group in the military whose sole purpose was information warfare on social media. They would go on Facebook, Twitter, just social media in general, and push out pro-government, pro-UK narratives. Ironically,
those people are controlling these websites, which is what I've been saying for the longest time now. I had evidence like before. It's just now here's a concrete paper trail.
Mm-hmm. We have someone who was originally in that group who deliberately did this.
Because that's sort of the problem with a lot of these glower tactics is, as they've admitted themselves, specifically the CIA talking about plausible deniability, what they like to do is, in order to try and maintain the appearance of not being involved, they like to hide their involvement behind a series of proxies, like Google with InQtel, for example. And by doing that, it allows them to deny direct involvement because they just control the proxy and their proxy did it.
This assumes that, of course, that these proxies can operate independently of their handlers. The fact that that is entirely plausible is what makes that argument so effective. Oh, this is not the people in the CIA doing this. These are just bad agents in the deep state.
Which is pretty much how that propaganda narrative goes. Which is why I personally don't use the term deep state, because it is itself a CIA controlled opposition psyop, essentially. It's designed to target disillusioned people and to make them believe, essentially, that the problems they're observing in the state are not systemic problems created by structural incentives. No, it's created by a couple of ideological actors who are just not correctly using government, as if you could use government for the purposes the state tells us is supposed to function in our interests.
Thoughts,
Stupid.
Marianne?
What?
I said, thoughts on this, Marianne?
Yeah. I just want to try and get for a noble here. I'm either going for this one or this one. First or second. 3-3.
Yeah, you're focused on the game right now.
Yeah, I'm also listening, so.
I suppose that's an excuse for some people, but just to let you know, I'm playing something that requires, a lot more focus, and I'm able to communicate just fine. Which I got to tell you, it's doing wonders for my self-esteem. Because I had problems with that before, thinking that I couldn't multitask, or not being confident in my ability to do so.
Hold on a second. JC Armitage says one of the nobles looks like Sargon.
Oh yeah, the one in the
the middle one.
Yeah. I need to zoom in some more because I think I can barely make it out. But does this thing have full screen?
Sargon's avatar, to be more exact, because
right here.
Carl Benjamin looks nothing like that.
Yeah, that kind of looks like him, kind of, or at least the avatar.
Yeah, actual Sargon, Carl Benjamin, is he's a fat piece of shit with no original ideas, who lies, backstabs, and manipulates people. So
kind of like the historical Sargon of Akkad.
Yeah, to be fair, that's something that they have in common. But yeah, appearance-wise, historical Sargon was at least good-looking.
Oh God! Hope he doesn't see this stream at all.
Not likely. He's not likely gonna do it.
I know, but it'd be hilarious if he did. But anyways, yeah, you can see a lot of people nowadays when these questions of like Silicon Valley censorship flare up every couple weeks or every couple months, and of course the narrative is always put out. the narrative is always put out. It's always very strange. I mean, I noticed that
Right.
when the stuff was starting to pop up around Google and their censorship, you would always hear stories about, you would always hear opinion pieces and videos making the argument that the idea that these are private companies and they can do what they want no longer flies. Which,
Even though
I mean,
nobody said that in the first place.
nobody's saying that. I mean, people might have said that
Dang
like
it.
5 or 6 years ago, because back then, like, people weren't really investigating that these organizations were not actually private companies. So it was plausible to
Fairly
make that
close.
argument.
Wasn't even really plausible back then. The fact, business hierarchy itself is a sign that there's state meddling going on. That's why business hierarchy itself became so common in the first place. It was a way in which businesses could actually operate in the market and mitigate the costs put onto them by regulatory capture and the financial burdens created by the state. As
All right.
as Filthy and I have demonstrated with networking to create FNet, the network speculation model is clearly more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that was
Yeah,
Splendor.
no, but
That was a really close game. Next is Ascension, which is a card deck builder.
card deck builder.
It's a deck builder game.
Wasn't aware deck builder games were a thing. I thought they were just card games that featured deck building because you need to build a deck to play.
Well, there are some games that do come with a large deck, 2 decks, or something like that. Yeah, so you don't have to buy the card packs individually. And it's not like this one's a trading card game, it's just typical deck builder. Oh boy, this one takes full screen. Let me go. I guess. Never mind. Hold up. Do that. Don't need the music. Okay. Yep, so I got the original base game and all the expansions that came with it. It was all $7. Um oh, have none. Oh, dang it. I have to do this. Okay, I'll have to turn off screen share and fill this out.
Okay, but why though?
Well,
Why
because I
why
have
is
to. It says in order to play this game, I must create an asmodee.net account. Then I'll be able to link to that account to the Playdeck online service. I don't know.
why do you need to link to the Playdeck online service?
Because I clicked have none. Account must be created before your account can be linked. I guess I can't play the game otherwise.
That's You can't store the information of the player's deck locally.
Hold up. Offline. Do offline. No.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Here we go.
that's a big problem which currently exists within software circles that distributed networking is certainly going to fix.
Yeah, that's just always online DRM as far as I'm concerned. Open source gaming is going to fix that. Is going to fix that problem completely.
Yeah. And at some point, I'd love to, like after Open Slayer's done, I'd love to rework that to make it distributed as well.
I'll
Open
pick the
Slayer?
wolf guy.
Yeah.
What's
Oh,
this?
we can do that.
Oh.
Except I think we might want to.
Select expansions? No.
I think we might want to work more on Agent Rogue's Open Night project.
I'm not familiar with that. Is that new?
It's something he's written a white paper on. The basic idea is that because a lot of Fortnite's content is stored locally on one's computer, that it actually wouldn't be. It would still be hard, of course, but not nearly as hard as like rebuilding the entire game from scratch and gathering all the information. The idea is that all of the skins, models, expansion packs, and just game data in general is stored locally on your computer. And with some finagling around, you could actually take a lot of the data, information, code, whatever, all the assets for Fortnite, make it all open source, host it as a host it on distributed servers that allow all players to have access to all content without having to go through any paywalls at all.
Yeah, he's mentioned that to me before, and that's the problem with that I foresee is that Fortnite it has momentary appeal. It only really has appeal for the time being. So by the time we're done, Fortnite very well could be, like FNAF was or is now. So I just like I would be cautious about going to forward with that particular strategy. Definitely, the gaming industry should be targeted in terms of counter economic developments, but that strategy is very high risk and high reward. It's high reward because Fortnite is so popular and gets so much media attention that if you were to do that, it would basically inadvertently bring attention to our project simply because of how popular Fortnite is currently. But the problem is, though, is as I already noted, who knows how much longer the media is going to promote Fortnite and how much longer people are going to be playing it.
I think it's got a few. It's been around, been very popular for well over a year now. There's a very good chance it'll continue to be popular for a good amount of time. Now we're going to need to communicate with Rogue, get like a very, very rough time estimate of how long this could possibly take if we went forward, and then double that amount of time because things always go wrong, and then we can make estimates on whether or not it's worth pursuing as a project. But for the time being, like in terms of its power as propaganda of the deed, creating an open source free Fortnite with all content available and that can constantly receive new content and new updates from Epic Games' official servers, I think that would be tremendous, especially if people can download Open Night without ever having to even touch Epic Games' launcher. That'll be a massive middle finger that I'm sure gamers would love to give to Epic Games because of their shenanigans with exclusivity deals.
Right, and that's another thing, another reason why I think that would probably serve major short-term benefits, because it would show an actual effective solution in combating the sort of shitty model that a lot of these bigger game companies operate under. and it would combat the narrative being promoted by a lot of these government shills as well, like Yang Yi or Jim Sterling, that the government needs to get involved. No, the government created the problem.
It's a beautiful thing. Suffice to say, where was I going with this? Imagine what would happen if Open Night gets released, like, let's say December or even January of next year, and then afterwards we get Borderlands 3 open sourced. Just complete,
yeah.
just a complete middle finger to exclusivity deals.
Borderlands 3 is another one because isn't that the game where they're banning people for incorrectly referring to one of the characters by pronouns that they don't identify with, even though they're fictional characters?
I don't know. Let me check.
Yeah, I could have swore I heard that. One of the characters, according to the devs, is a they, and people who refer to them as a she have been banned.
Part of what I like about this game is the artwork on the cards. It's really cool. Can you guys see it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like it's a thing. No, it looks like it's a thing that's happening in the game BattleTech.
Okay. Well, still, that would be another reason. That would be another way in which we could undermine a lot of these bigger game studios.
Oh god, imagine what would happen if we open sourced BattleTech's online servers. Nobody could ever get banned for anything.
Yeah, it would make the people on the open source servers even edgier, too. As is what tends to happen when people get banned for saying something and then somebody creates a substitute for people who were banned to talk about it.
Well, you know what's going to happen. They're going to make all of these hilarious narratives about how, I don't know, we're feeling our entire community is just going to be toxic, full of just like the most vile, evil terrorists.
Try Hard Legion's favorite game.
Oh god, imagine what would happen if we can get people to stream any of our open source games.
But yeah, that would actually create some. That would actually be another good reason for why we should do that, because the narrative which the media is necessarily going to create serves sort of the exact same function that, our yet to be seen advertising strategy for FNet will, in that it exploits the media by making them think that they're playing to their interests, but in reality they would be advertising the major selling point of the technology we used to create our server with. They're going to be saying, "Oh, look, this open source technology, it allows people to say whatever they want, even those who've been banned. It creates a freer alternative, and it's because it's completely decentralized. People are going to look at that and say, "Hey, well, look at this decentralized networking." Undermines state protectionism in the form of patent laws, and also makes people freer. So,
let's see here. JC Armitage asks, "I've yet to play BL3. Does anyone know if that's any good?"
BL, I don't know what that is. Oh, Borderlands. No, I haven't played it either.
I've never actually played a Borderlands game.
I've played Borderlands 2, and it's alright. Just got boring after a while. Didn't even beat it.
I know in Borderlands 3 there's like a dubstep gun, but that's basically following an ancient trend that I'm so happy died.
Yeah.
But I'll admit the gun is pretty cool. It fires. You know those what are they called? I forget what the term is. Like the lines that form when audio plays. And
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, it's got those effects in both of its gun flares and its projectiles. It's cool. But yeah,
I'm looking forward to Doom Eternal. You seen that?
yes,
Yeah,
that
it's coming out soon.
you get to become the BFG.
Huh.
And that's, I don't know what they were thinking when they did that, but whatever they were smoking, keep it up.
Yeah, actually creating a good game
Who would have thought?
in 2019.
How dare you? Remember, demon is an offensive term. Refer to them as mortally challenged.
That's a great example of the sort of advertising strategy which we're talking about. It's not really promoting any subversive technology, but it promotes Doom Eternal, and it gives Doom Eternal the appeal of being an edgy game.
Oh, it's pick one to banish.
If they change that, I'm gonna be so fucking mad. I am hoping for like those sorts of lines and more.
Remember, demon is an offensive term. Please refer to them as tryhards.
Mortally challenged.
Mortally challenged tryhards.
Oh, to banish one, no. Fine.
You think there's any hope for Cyberpunk 2077?
I don't know that much about it. Yeah, I think I remember seeing it at E3 and just there were a couple of Cyberpunk games, so I guess I'd have to know which one you're referring to.
It's an open world Cyberpunk game. Not much I can tell you about it from that, but I mean, it looks like it could be good. But they recently announced that they're cutting the map size down to 1/4 for some reason. I'm honestly kind of expecting it to just turn out to suck, for the simple fact that it got rushed out the door by a developer. That's kind of what I'm expecting. Meanwhile, you got Meanwhile, you got what's it called? Star Citizen, which is apparently still in development to nobody's surprise, but the amount of work that they've actually done so far is absolutely breathtaking. They got freaking cities you can walk around in that are all like handmade. And while sure, there's a lot of recycled assets, they're becoming richer every other update. I don't know anything about CD Projekt Red, though. I haven't followed that at all. Though I have to admit, I just have a lot of problems with the cyberpunk genre in general.
Solar Punk is better.
Solar Punk is actually better. And the post-cyberpunk genre is actually pretty cool. The problem with the cyberpunk genre is that, well, it assumes that evil megacorporations would take over in the absence, or at least in the minimized presence, of government coercion, which makes absolutely no sense for multiple reasons. One, large monopolies and oligopolies only exist because governments enforce them. Two, megacorporations can only form cartels if the government forces them to. Three, mega corporations are unsustainable and would be absolutely devastated by competition in the absence or minimization of government coercion. The idea that you would have all this...
Sorry. Continue.
The idea that you would have all of this marvelous, wonderful advancements in technology and the rise of transhumanism, and it would only be available through like one or two businesses, and when the government is virtually non-existent, or how a company can even sustain itself when it tries to itself become a government, doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. The amount of resources required to even become a government in the first place, let alone become a government in the extent to which society is as expansive and all-encompassing as it would be in those days, in the future, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, diseconomy of scale debunks the cyberpunk genre. And there are also, a lot of these problems, which plague government structurally themselves, such as the fact that as governments need to expand because they don't actually produce any resources, they require more expansion over society, more influence over markets, and as a result, that creates artificial scarcity, which produces fewer resources for them to appropriate. I'd say that's a pretty big internal contradiction there.
It's pretty big. I mean, I don't even know what the whole thing was. I'm sure there was some big push during the 70s and 80s to try to popularize the cyberpunk genre for whatever reason. This has government narrative written all over it, though I haven't been able to prove anything.
Yeah, I'd have to look into the sort of origins of cyberpunk, but I wouldn't doubt it.
Also, is it just me, or does the cyberpunk genre, they're basically all the same setting?
Well, they are, and that's what I was going to say that I didn't get to because you were talking, is that the whole mega corporation writing plot, it's lazy writing, basically. It's an excuse to create a one-dimensional antagonist without any sort of character development. That's all the mega corporation in stories really is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the reason why cyberpunk stories all seem identical, because they kind of are.
And of course, anyone...
Okay. Well, they're lazy and uninspired, and unsurprisingly, that creates lazy and uninspired stories.
Mm-hmm. And let's see here. Well, I mean, you can actually make it work. I figure I'm actually kind of brainstorming this one idea for a video where the state has just collapsed, and you have the CEO of Evil Corporation cackling to himself about how much he's going to be able to, about all of his plans he's going to have when Evil Corp becomes the mega corporation, becomes the new government, and all of these things he's going to do. And then his assistant steps by just like, no, actually, this is bad for our company because we rely on government subsidies and government favors to keep our competition out. Sure, subsidies only account for less than 1% of our revenue, but it'll start eating into our budget pretty severely once competition starts around. We'll just buy them out. What's going to end up happening is that every company we buy out, they're just going to use the money we pay them to start another company, and we're going to have to buy them out too. And it's just going to keep going, and people are just going to make a whole bunch of money just like building up fruit stands, and be giving them like millions of dollars for the right to the fruit stand.
Plus, there are also all these indirect nationalized resources or finance manipulations, which cosmetically don't seem to have any relation to these industries, but they actually significantly impact them and allow a lot of these companies to externalize costs which they otherwise would need to take into account. For example, as Roderick Long pointed out, um, the highway system being nationalized by the government basically serves as a de facto subsidy for a lot of these major retail companies because it allows them to transport more resources with less cost.
A good example historically of a mega corporation and how they worked was the British East India Company under the later days of mercantilism. Basically, given a government monopoly to operate in the UK and their, or rather England and their colonies, and basically given license to do whatever the hell they want. However, in order to remain in existence, they relied on massive amounts of government subsidies, not only in direct payments, but also in terms of the exclusion benefits that they get from being the only one able to operate in a given area. They needed the government to quell rebellions whenever like natives in a colony decided to target East India Company assets. They relied on the government to provide transportation, to provide protection, as I previously mentioned. And suffice to say that the mercantilist monopolist model was absolutely unsustainable, even at that time. So the idea that an economy as large and complex as, say, a pseudo market economy in 2077 would have maybe one or two mega corporations that do absolutely everything. A government could not possibly sustain that kind of mega corporation. It would just require too many resources.
Well, that also, the other problem with the whole mega corporation narrative is that it assumes that systems exist in nature. By systems, I mean organizations which operate in their interests independently of the interests of people who are not affiliated with that organization and can sort of engineer society around their interests. The problem with that is that societies can only function among actors associating for their own mutual interests. Therefore, the interest of a system operating society itself is running in conflict with what society is. People suit their own interests in societies and systems. People are compelled into working in the interests of an external legal class antagonizing everyone who's not in that group. So, uh, yeah, you couldn't get that even conceptually unless you start from the presupposition that all of society operates around systems, which, gee, I wonder what group that currently tries to claim that it rules over all of us, having people think that would benefit.
I can't think of any organizations. Marianne, can you?
Organizations for what exactly?
Organizations which have a socio-political benefit in having most of society think that systems which itself operates around exist in nature.
No, I can't think of any.
It's the government, obviously.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And I like what Neko said, that the East India Company, they bankrupted the British government and they had to go to war with China just to stay afloat.
Yeah,
Suffice to say, the mega corporation model was unsustainable in a long time ago, and since the government operates on an exponential growth curve, well, it's going to be even more unsustainable by today's standard. It's just not going to happen.
yeah, the East India Company was probably the best historical example of a mega corporation, and it was so heavily cartelized by the British government among various other state actors. in terms of externalizing its cost and ensuring that no one legally could compete with it. That it basically, to call it a private company is laughable. It essentially was just a de facto arm of the government. I mean, they literally have, back then, under the British government, this is still the case today, but explicitly the framing was entirely different. They had guilds, and in order to actually be a producer, you had to have a license from the government in order to be a member of one of those guilds, and those guilds all essentially were given their resources by the British government and operated around the British government's interests. Mercantilism from the very beginning was basically just a ghost economy which operated entirely around artificially inflating figures to make people think there's more wealth than there actually is. It's like China's current economic model, but more extreme and expansive.
Yep.
So what happened?
So that was Ascension.
I didn't understand what was happening in that game at all.
It's basically you fight these different monsters with the might. What you get, and the runes are like little crystals. You spend those to get like heavy infantry, like warriors, or more runes. And there are these different cards that have like these certain abilities. Like you can draw up to 2 cards, and some you can draw 1 card, and some you have to like banish to the void.
Who's coming in?
Yeah, people do that on my end, and it's annoying. No one has any respect for my privacy in this house. And then they complain that I've developed this force of habit where I lock the door behind me every time I go into a room.
Weird.
And this one's easier to understand. It's a tile laying world building game. You lay a tile, you put a little person down, and you claim it. And
Anyway, I gotta go.
Okay, later, Esso.
Well,
Thanks for stopping by.
yeah, he just abruptly left.
Alright. Carcassonne. Simple, easy to understand the game. This is like one of those gateway games that you can, anyone interested in trying out other games besides the classics like Life, Monopoly, Trouble. Those are cool games.
It's a Unity game.
Euro. Mm-hmm. And I got all the expansions that were available for this. I personally, there's a base version of Carcassonne that I like more. It's got like a prehistoric theme called Hunters and Gatherers, and it's an interesting way to score more points, such as hunting the different animals, going fishing in the rivers that you build, and the little golden nuggets. Turn that down.
Let's see here. Anything else going on? Or should we just talk more crap about the cyberpunk genre?
I could share. Did you see incoming posting? I guess you didn't, or maybe you did. It was like a little chat room thing on my phone, and there was like this one commie that said really something delusional, such as liberty is the slavery of the self, or something like that. That was really delusional, of course.
Yeah,
I
I just opened up comic posting right now, and actually yours was the thing that loaded. Liberty is slavery to the self, and more reasons that would take too long to list. True freedom is wrought by the hand of God. Slavery to the self. What? You're gonna have to disagree there. Doesn't make any sense.
Nope, not to me.
No, it does. It makes no sense whatsoever. I figure this is one of those
No.
Christians. This is one of those Christian statists who does not believe that, who has so little confidence in the word of Jesus Christ and of God that they believe that the only way people will be able to accept it is if they were forced into loving God. Which, of course, that makes perfect sense,
Oh, I
right?
forget. On the river expansion. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it does. Makes more sense. I just realized I forgot. On the river expansion, you have to put down the river first. I forgot about that part.
Hmm.
Do I want to claim this field or this field? This field.
All right. So, anyways, the what's the thing? I lost my train of thought. So let's see here. So the people who, or the Christians who want to, the statist Christians. Well, I mean, he is correct in the sense that liberty does come from God, and is wrought by the hand of God.
Yeah.
I mean, he created the universe. He created a logical axiomatic universe that is within the capacity of man to understand. He created the framework by which we can understand things like deontological ethics. It's by the hand of God that we're able to learn and discover things like self-ownership and property rights. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
This is also to reject liberty as though it were some kind of artificial thing wrought by man is to blaspheme against God's design.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Where do you think natural law comes from? Gaia? Was it Loki that created the natural law? I mean, Loki is the name of adorable red fox that unfortunately is no longer with us. But that's something that happened, and I'm reading what I'm generously referring to as arguments, and yeah, he's saying like he thinks he serves a higher purpose in you're mindlessly giving to base desires. I think that the desire to subjugate, to dominate, and control is one of the basest desires there is. I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
And it's funny how the guy only just met me and he claims to be expert of what kind of a person I am.
Oh, great. The kind of person that tells you, yes, let me tell you exactly what you believe. You are a slave to your. I'm reading what he's saying. You are a slave to your animalistic desires. That isn't a choice. It's instinct. You're equating yourself to an animal. Free will isn't the option to do what we want. It's the right path or the wrong path. Well, the whole point of free will is to be able to choose the right path or the wrong path.
This guy sounds like a determinist.
I have a hard time telling. He says he used to be an ANCAP. I got better. Yeah, I doubt that.
Yeah, I seriously doubt that.
I'm going to hazard a guess and say it was a Hoppian. But suffice to say, definitely not a... definitely didn't used to be an ANCAP, and I would say has a very, I would say, heretical understanding of Christianity. No king but Christ. That's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to claim
Suffice to
that
say,
field.
yeah. You are a slave to your animalistic desires. Did you communicate any animalistic desires to him?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, this guy, I'm reading it over again. This guy is definitely making a lot of assumptions about you.
Yep, he is.
Just,
He assumed I was an on
I
what
mean, in all fairness,
basis?
there are a lot of atheist anarchists.
Yeah, night
But
shift.
Night
So
Shift,
he's one of them.
Night Shift, Shane Killian,
Shane
as he is
Killian.
apt to remind us every freaking video, at least like 3 times. Yeah, government is bad, you guys, but let me tell you about how horrible Christians are. Yeah, Christians are just the worst. Oh yeah, and government's bad too, I guess. That's basically Shane in a nutshell. Anyways, yeah, let me see here. I mean, Esso, he calls himself something called an igtheist, which basically means that he wants to become God.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Transhumanism. That's the plan.
Oh,
What he would say is that there are many attributes that are attributed to the divine that are achievable through technological, cybernetic, and biological development.
yeah. What's also interesting about this game, Carcassonne, you can like lay down a tile and mess up the other player. That's for like you get a little mean.
Now, is it like is it a competitive game or a co-op game?
It's a competitive game.
Where's the competition factor in?
It's the claiming and the scoring. So, for example, this is a monastery. So if I get tiles to surround it, I get the points from this monastery, not this person who's got the road, and I think I got a road over here. Like the roads completed get points, and even some like near the end of the game, some incomplete stuff. It's points. So,
So wait a minute.
first
This, I guess you could say this game is a road building simulator.
world building technically. You could also build cities. Like this is like a city here. Um, roads, fill in the fields and stuff around monastery.
But
Yeah, you can also
Marianne,
claim the.
who would
Yes.
who would build the roads?
City. I'm gonna do it. No, it's gonna add to my road. Currently tied with 14 points each.
What just happened? We put down a tile got put down, and now there's buildings.
His monastery got complete. See, you got points for surrounding the monastery here. Let's see. Do I want to add this road? Or is there another road that I claimed? Oh yeah, this one. And I will claim this city. And it's interesting on how your last piece is highlighted, as well as the computer players.
And according to Faithless Berserker, Marianne builds the roads.
My road. Yep.
But without ISIS, who will build the roads?
Without terrorists, without any terrorists, who would produce anything? And who would spend the victims' money? I can complete this room. Yep, and I get that meeple back. That's what the little people are officially called, meeples. Yep, so I just completed that road right here that's connected to my building, the city I have not completed yet. Oh, a little football city. That's a quick oh, do I want this field? Yeah, it's got like for each completed city in the field that you claim, you get like extra points at the end of the game. Yep, so I think that was like 2 or 4 points. I forget exactly. Yeah. Oh, the football cities are 4 points each. The short cities, and they're shaped like footballs. And it was funny, like when friends and I were playing the actual version of this game, there was a city that looked like a rabbit, and there were 3 footballs. So we joked it was the rabbit's poop.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Oh, that builds onto his road. I don't want that. There we go. That adds on to my road there. I don't want to claim another field. 2 is good enough. And the thing is, if you claim a field, the meeple that you use it to claim with stays there, and you just lay it down because it's a farmer, and the farmer lays in about. That's basically how it goes. Let's see her. I can build to this city here. And I'm claiming it. Yeah, there's all these other expansions that go with the original base game, such as the Princess and the Dragon, and Builders and Traders. There's this one that I don't think this version, the digital version of the game, has this expansion, but it comes with this big tower thing, and you could put tiles in there instead of a bag, and there's the choice to do something mean and hold that hold your opponent's meeple, and they have to like pay points to the to you. You have to pay points to if your meeple is held, and you have to pay points or something to release it. I forget how it goes exactly, but something like that. But my mom and I hardly played that specific expansion. We mostly just used the tower to store tiles because it's a neat little thing. I don't have any meeples to claim it, so that's just that's something waiting to be claimed, and the AI just claim that. And it looks like there's 41 tiles left. So it won't take too much longer, I guess. It's oh, it's a city builder. Can I finish my city off? Nope. Doesn't look like I can add to my city, so there. And I have one more that I just have the digital version of. I don't think there's an actual copy of it, but it would be cool if there was. It's called Armello.
Hmm.
That one is fun.
Is there any chance you can ever claim that big ass incomplete field as a city?
Oh, you can get the points for incomplete cities by the end of the game. If yeah, since I claimed this one's not yet finished. There's still like 39 tiles left. Can I add anything to mine? Oh, I can add to this one. Another big ass city right here. In progress. And I just screwed the AI over, so I don't think he's going to be able to complete his road until like the end of the game. Incomplete roads get points by the end of the game. Let's see here. Oh, looks like another road. I don't have any meeples, so okay, I'll just put it there. I don't really like those tiles anyway. Not much. It's just like a little intersection. And if you can't literally use them much, then that's a really big city that AI is making. Can I add? Oh, this is just a road piece. I don't want to add on to his. All right. Can I finish a city? Yes, I can finish this one. Yay. 10 points from that one. Yeah, I think there's more you can get in Hunters and Gatherers from the little gold nuggets from the creatures that you get, the fish that you score from completing streams. And it's a really nice looking game. Alhambra, that's it's that you can play. That's one is similar to playing Carcassonne. But you buy the different tiles to build your city. It's just pretty much a city building game, and there's the cards that can be used like that come with it to be used as in-game money. I really like that one. Let's see her. Oh, a monastery. Hmm. I'll just put it right there and claim it here. Am I messing you up, AI? Oh, it completed a city. Um. So build. Oh, I can build onto my road. Yes, I can complete this one. The long and winding road. Looks like the AI claimed a new road. Let's see here. Ooh, which city do I want? This one or this one? I don't think it matters. This one.
This is gonna be a football city.
Maybe, maybe not. Let's see. This one's a road piece. Would be nice to have another little football city. Score some quick more points. This one's part of a city. It's not finished. This one's going to be another big one. I don't want to claim a field. 2 farmers is good enough. Yo, in Alhambra, the tile laying city building game, it's just you build, you could choose if you can't place a tile yet after you purchase it, you can just put it in reserve, and the amount of cards you can put in reserve is unlimited, and it comes in handy, especially if you
Hey,
have a tile that
SO says he
you.
wants to come back into the stream.
Okay, sure.
Uh,
I guess his
where do I get the
privacy.
link?
Hold on. I'll DM it to you. Okay. So, yeah, I was saying about the reserve. It's handy when it's a tile you can't use, but someone else can use it. You could screw the opponents over. Okay. Oh, come on. Message. And that's basically my favorite world building tiling games. Carcassonne and Alhambra. There you go. Yeah, I could send that to SO.
No, that's I can't find it.
It's on your DMs.
Yeah, I see
Discord.
it.
All right.
That's weird. The old link should work.
I think. Oh, I got a road piece. Where do I put this one? Did I claim in roads yet? There's. Put it right there. I'll claim this road. And there's a card tree building game that I've played. It's called Kohona or Kokoana. I know it starts with a K. It's been a while since I last played that game, but I forget the name of it exactly. But I know you. It's a really cool, chill strategy game where you use cards to build trees, put trees together, and there are these different little traits to it, like fireflies or mushrooms or flowers, and you score points by um, how many in a row they um, depending on the placement of cards.
All right. Anyways, I
Oh,
gotta
this is
go
a
now.
city one. Okay, later.
Yep. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it was
Bye.
fun. Bye. Alright, I'll check on the chat here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna say the N word. Okay. YouTubing Jaguar finally shows up. Hey! JC Armitage says, oh, you know what would be an even funnier idea? It's people debating while also PvPing in Dark Souls. Now that would be a sight worth seeing. That would be interesting, that's for sure. Oh, I'm roboting. Ugh. Sorry about that. I guess the audio quality kind of sucks. Dang it. Oh, it's a monastery. Go ahead and place this really quick. I'm gonna put it here because all it needs is just one more tile here. No, wait, that's bad placement. Here. Yeah, better. I have two monasteries, a double monastery, because I already have claimed one monastery, and I don't have any more meeples to claim it with, so best to use this as just a space to complete my monastery that I currently claimed. Anywho. Filthy was holding all the audio together. Oh. Is my mic too loud? I could fix that real quick. I didn't even notice. Sorry about that. Come on now. I think after Carcassonne, I'm just gonna end the stream after I finish this game here. It shouldn't be too much longer. Yeah, it's only 17 titles left. God dang it. You know what? I'll just do that. I don't know if that does anything. No, probably doesn't. Maybe I could fix that. Maybe right here. Nope, can't fix the mic volume here. Repair. It's not loading. I'm sorry about that. Maybe if I turn screen share off for a bit, I could load. There we go. Yep. Turning the mic down now. Come on. Turn down. Computer's being laggy. Sucks. There we go. That should be better. I turned the mic down. Alright. Okay. Entire screen. I'll just do my old chat. That should. Oh, I can complete it all. No. Dang it. Alright. Complete that one. But yeah, I already used up all my meeples though, so that doesn't get any points. It's just a completed city, but no one claimed it. That happens. It happens in the physical game. You only get a certain amount of meeples, and no one can use any. It just stays unclaimed. Should I claim a road? Oh, yes, I did, but I can't place that one there. Can I put it near my monastery? No, I cannot. So, there. I have another football city. Another unclaimed football city. That stinks. The AI's kicking my butt. Is audio okay on your end? Am I still botting? Crowded. Can I complete a city of mine? I cannot. Complete. I don't know. Here's a contribute to the big ass one that won't be claimed. Online, yay. Finally. Just one more tile with the right shape and I can complete this big one. And the shields, I think those double the points. I claimed a monastery. A road. Okay. Yeah, it's 9 points when you complete a monastery. Yeah, I'll do that. I'm not really fond of those tiles. It's kind of, yeah. They're only good at the right time. Sucks. Botting. Ew. Oh, it's a monastery card. I can't put it there. I can't put it. Definitely can't put it there. This isn't going to be a complete one. Nope. Yeah. Nope, I cannot complete that city. I don't think I have any meeples to claim things with. So alright, AI, what are you gonna do here? Can I finish? Oh, nope. Final part here. Useless tiles. Last one. This is the last. And then it's final scoring. Yep, end of game. Yep, and complete roads. Monasteries. 8 there. 8 there. Incompleted cities. Catching up a little bit. Now it's the fields. Yeah. Kicked my butt. Okay, I won. I might play with the river expansion again later. Go ahead and turn off screen share here, since I won't need it anymore. Okay. Well, those are the 3 games. I'm just gonna type out in case you couldn't hear what I'm saying. What did you guys and guys think of those PC versions of board games I have? Physical. Yeah, damn roads. Oh, yeah. I guess that's the downside of freaking screen sharing. Dang it. Yeah, I guess it was filthy that held the audio together for some reason. Yep, so what do you guys think? I enjoy playing those games with my mom and our friends on Friday evenings. And I really hope that Century Spice Road gets a digital version. I definitely, yeah, they're really good. How you score in Ascension, I guess I forgot to mention that. What you do is that when you fight monsters, the monster cards, those cool looking artsy monster cards, you gain honor. And there's also some of those honor, those black star symbols. I think that's more honor on those cards. Some of them I actually haven't seen. And there's expansions that I have that I got with the in the bundle. Yeah, and Splendor. It's fun. It's nice that there's a digital version of that, and I'm pretty glad that they're digital versions, so I can introduce people to these games online. I like that a lot, and you got to take advantage when they're on sale on Steam for cheap. So got going on. Okay. So, a friend on Discord just asked me if I remembered Wipeout. Yeah, I remember that TV show. Yeah, it was kind of funny to watch. Like way back when. But I think what I liked more that used to air at the same time as that show was How I Survived a Japanese TV Show. Now that was funny. It was crazy funny. Oh, Jaguar says that Carcassonne is one of his favorite board games. Have you played Alhambra? I recommend Alhambra. If you like Carcassonne, you gotta try out Alhambra. It's a tile laying city building game where you buy the tiles. That's game money. And oh yeah, I forgot about the borders. Gosh, it's been a while since I last played that. Like plain side can go together with a plain side, but uh, a a wall has to line up with the walls, and you get points for the longest wall. Yeah, Wipeout was cool, and it was funny. Um, who remembers the Ninja Warrior TV show? I watched the original Japanese version the most. Oh my gosh, the characters that showed up. God, I love those Japanese game shows. Human Tetris. You could look that up on YouTube. Check it out. It's really something. Private chat. Oh, SO. Okay, I'll let SO back in. Oops. Er, copy. Yeah, go ahead and let SO back on. Had stream for a little bit while longer. Alright, SO, I'm sending you. Heretic. Okay. Anyways. Yep, we'll see if SO wants back on or not. Chat. Dang it, where's the comments? How to get right here. Yeah, I'm new to StreamYard, so like, oh, there we go. Yeah, StreamYard looks a little different. Since it looks a little bit different from the host of the broadcast point of view. I've been on Nate's live streams, of course, JC, you know. And StreamYard looks a little bit different when you're just a guest on. Yeah, that was fun, showing the different games. Maybe next time I could show Armello. It's a fun, medieval themed, anthropomorphic animals type game. That one's fun. Even though it's got there's 4 different ways to win, such as just straight out killing the corrupted king, and there's the option to just be more corrupted than the king is and kill him that way. And there's the statist peasant option to heal the king, and there's whoever wins with the most prestige by the end of the game. And there's a little bit more to it than just the victories. It's the different battles that go on, and the different cards you get, and cool looking graphic dice too. I'll wait a few minutes. What's going on? Well, I see Zachary Call has got a new video up. I'll have to check that one out later. Okay. Yeah, I'm replying to a friend on Discord. Alright. I guess SO isn't coming back, so I guess I'll end it. Anyways, I'm say the thank yous. Thank you to Filthy Heretic, SO for showing up earlier. Thanks to those in the live chat, YouTubing Jaguar, JC Armitage, scrolling up. Mr. Agent 47, aka Faithless Berserker, Nico the Anarchist, Techno, and Stasic the Fox. And there was one more that I invited to just hang out and chat, Grove Grinnut. And of course, Ateca Helicopter Cat. Wow, a bunch of people showed up. Awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you for joining in, and tune in next time. Yeah, I think I'll continue more of the 5th wave for next Monday. Yeah, that'll be fun. Well, take care, everyone. Good night. Oh, Cards Against Humanity stream? Sure, maybe sometime in the near future. Oh, I gotta say that there's this newer card game called actual physical card game called You're an Idiot and Your Friends Are Too. That's kind of fun. Um, yeah, if you like Cards Against Humanity, you might like that one. And you might like this other one called Fun Employment, in which um on your turn you get like a really unusual card that describes what a title for a job, and you're when it's your turn you're supposed to say to convince the others why you're good for this odd job. It gets really silly. It's entertaining. Anyways, good night. How do I stop this? End broadcast.